Be a good neighbor. Check on your neighbor, rake their lawn, help them pick up trash, do things that no one expects you to do. I mean, dude, the other day, Adam, I came to an intersection at 69th and Minnesota. And this poor girl is sitting in the middle of the intersection, her car had stalled, and cars are just driving around her. It's the middle of rush hour, and she is just sweating bullets, and just, she's probably 17. And I pulled over and I pushed her out of the intersection, and I'm like, why are all these people just driving around her? Get out and push her. This poor girl is a picture of your 17-year-old daughter. Like, I felt so bad for this kid. So just like, be a good human in our city. Like, you do that stuff, man. Think how great our city would be if everybody did two things every day. Found someone to pray for and found someone to bless.
It's good.
Like, do those two things and man, we'd have a great city.
It's Adam and Emily, and you're listening to The Conversation. Today, we are on episode 305.
305.
We got Mr. Mayor Paul TenHaken today on the episode, Mayor of Sioux Falls.
Oh, I love our mayor, and it was so fun. We're going to share a little bit more about this probably. But we did the interview on a street corner in downtown Sioux Falls.
It was.
So it made it a joy to me. So.
Yeah, it was great. Mr. Mayor, do you call him Mr. Mayor? Is that like what people say, Mr. Mayor?
I actually call him two different things. If I'm talking to him as a mayor, I call him mayor.
Okay, not Mr.
Not
Drop the Mr.
And like literally, I rarely talk to our mayor, but I talk to Paul on a regular basis.
Okay,
so when I'm just talking to him as a friend, it's Paul. And there's a.
And this episode, is he mayor?
That's a great question. I'm going to say I talked to him as Paul. I didn't talk to him as our mayor. Okay. That's a really great question. Well, and for me, it's very different.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Paul has written a book. It is called The Code of Contentment. We are giving away a couple of copies of the books in order to enter the giveaway.
Let's hear it.
What should we have them do? Maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to this video and just write giveaway in the comments. There you go.
That's it. That's all you need to do.
Giveaway in the comments.
Adam
or just say you love
Weber and just comment on this video.
Yeah, it'll be linked in the description of the podcast episode if you're looking for it. Before we go any further about the episode, we just have some awesome partners that we want to thank for making the conversation possible.
Yeah,
Take it
our
away.
partners, I gush about these partners constantly. And for me, they're not just an ad spot. For me, it's like, no, I believe in them. The first partner is Vern Eide Mitsubishi. Vern Eide is an employee-owned, faith-based company that strives to deliver dreams and transform lives. And typically when you think about Vern Eide, you think about automobiles, cars, Acuras, Ford, Chevy, Honda, but they do tractors, they do boats, they do ATVs. You name the make a vehicle, they're most likely going to have it. And what so many people don't know, no matter where you live, they will ship a vehicle to you. I look no place else for vehicles. And so go check out verneide.com. If you're trying to find a new vehicle, used vehicle, verneide.com. Our second partner, again, I talk about this organization all the time. It's Mission Haiti. Mission Haiti is a nonprofit I've personally known and supported financially for over 10 years. Several months back, I went to Haiti for the 4th time. It was the most powerful trip of all 4 times. I'm planning on going back to Haiti again in the future. Let's go. But the work that Mission Haiti is doing is just absolutely incredible. One of the main things they do is their child education student program, where they provide a Christian education and they provide a warm meal and access to healthcare to over 2,800 kids. I won't, no shame in doing this. I'm gonna beg you, go to Mission Haiti's site and sponsor a child. Becky and I sponsor 2 kids. You won't regret it. Go do that at mission-haiti.org. The mission-haiti.org. You'll never regret it. Perfect. Best investment every single month.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so as you were saying, Adam kind of talked about this earlier, but he interviewed Paul TenHaken on the corner of like Phillips and I don't know what's true. It was a street corner downtown.
Yeah.
What made you want to do that?
Yeah, so, well, I'm trying to switch things up with the podcast, and spoiler alert, we're going to switch things up in a big way coming up not too far from now. But I've been trying to switch things up, and he's our mayor, and so I thought what better than to interview him in the heart of our city. And also just didn't know what we were going to get. I think we only had one heckler that drove by and yelled something from his car.
And then you had a big truck that went.
We had a big truck, and there was a construction site happening literally across the street. But I wanted it to be more real, and I also wanted it to be in the heart of the city that we were talking about. And so you're going to hear a lot of noises. It's going to be distracting at times, and yet I thought it was so important that we do that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation. Okay, so Paul, thanks for this. I have no idea what's going to happen. Even being out here, someone might heckle you, me, the two of us together. Like, I have no idea what's going on, but just so grateful.
I love it.
Yeah, just really, really grateful. And I think a lot of what I want to talk about, I feel like being set here on Phillips Avenue is just really, really cool. So you have less than a year as mayor. May of 2026. Do I have that correctly, or is that
June
off?
2 will be the election.
It got shifted, didn't it?
Yeah, June 2 will be the election, and then the next mayor will get sworn in about a month after that in July.
So
I've got about a year left.
How does that make you feel?
Are we live?
Yes.
Is this the interview? Oh, okay. Start over. Okay, we're in. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
You go. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel, honestly, as I get close to the end, it makes me feel sad, because
does it?
Yeah, it does. And there were times when I'm like, Lord, this cannot be over quick enough. But now, God gave me this platform, and I really see it as I've really started to see this as ministry, this job, and I see it ending, you know, and I'm gonna miss the significance of it, the significance that I get from doing the work.
Yeah.
It just brings me such joy, as hard as it is. I really get a lot of joy out of it. And so I'm going to struggle, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
What part do you think you'll struggle with?
I'm in the know. I mean, if I could tell you about my day-to-day, the governor calls me today to talk about something. The governor's not going to call the ex-mayor. You're just not in the loop anymore on things. And so, how am I going to feel that level of that adrenaline rush and that significance of being in the loop and in the know and the guy, and that's maybe my own ego I'll have to wrestle with. Of my identity is still a little bit wrapped up in being the mayor, and I'll have to shift from that.
I was on a flight recently with a previous mayor from Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
And once we got off the flight and away from it, Becky said to me, it struck me that no one engaged him. And I said, well, maybe that's two things. Maybe that's A, nobody knows who he is anymore. But B, maybe it's just respect for him and his family. We're on the trip together. But it's interesting how quickly you can go from being known to unknown. And that's just kind of an interesting thing.
You don't know what your place will be, Adam. And I mean, if you decided, hey, Becky and I, we want to keep living in Sioux Falls. We love Sioux Falls. But I don't think I'm going to be a pastor at Embrace anymore. My time is done there. Would you keep worshiping at Embrace?
Would you? I don't. If it was under good terms, I think I would. But I just listened to an interview last week where the pastor was basically like, once you're done at a church, get
out.
The heck out of there.
I know. And that's the camp I'm in. And it's kind of like a mayor. Once you're done, what's your place in the city? You kind of have to give it over to the next mayor. And I mean, I even have it sometimes. The previous mayor, he'll show up at a ribbon cutting or something, and people are like, what's he doing here? It's like, well, why can't he come to a ribbon cutting? He still loves this city, and he gave his life to it for 8 years. And is that what people are going to say about me? What's TenHaken doing here? Get a life. Just stay home and watch Wheel of Fortune. Why are you out and about?
Yeah.
And so it's weird. It's weird to know what your lane will be.
So you have a unique role, but you're finishing here. When the end date is. Whether I'm retiring, whether I'm finishing college, I think all of us have transitions. Has it been a struggle to finish strong? And what's been helpful to do that? That would be applicable to me in any other phase. What's been helpful? Because a lot of times it's even my last semester at college, I could not have coasted more.
Bingo.
How has it been a struggle, and how have you
kind of challenged yourself?
Well, like senioritis is a thing. I got a freshman in college, and her last semester of high school, she was kind of mailing it in. And it's the same thing here where June 2 of 2026 is the election. So I know when I'm done. Most people with their jobs are like, I may stay in this job for another 2 or 3. They don't know the exact date. I know the exact date. So to stay focused and motivated may sound hard, but also I have one of those digital clocks on my desk that counts down. I know I know down to the second from when the swearing in is of the next mayor. And not in like a Shawshank style where I'm like counting down the days. It's more like, man, God has only given me this many more days to have impact, and so each day is a day wasted. So I want to do it as best I can for the kingdom, So I look at it with a lot more like zeal and energy and excitement each day now. That no day wasted. So I'm just going hard right now versus checking out.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
A question I thought of earlier today, so I feel like in my eyes, and every pastor would say something differently, they kind of have the ideal like church attendee where they're like, man, if everybody could be like her, if everybody could be like him, you just have like, I just have like characteristics. What does it look like to be a great citizen?
Oh man, that's a great question.
What qualities? Because again, I know what I would list off as a pastor. What would you say about that as a citizen?
An ideal citizen is someone obviously who's engaged, but is also respectful. There's a lot of people who are engaged, but are very myopic and are we call them special interest groups. You hear that term in politics where they love bicycling, so they're engaged and all they care about is bicycling. We need more bike lanes. Why are the cyclists not getting more funding? Bicycling, and pick your other special interest. The pickleball crowd, they're very loud right now. We need more pickleball. I mean, pickleball's going like it. And so
darn pickleball players.
We need people who are they're very engaged, but they also understand the challenges of running, an $800 million budget, 220,000 residents who all have different ideas of how you should spend their money. And so having a level of empathy, I think it would be so great if people could just understand the challenge of running a city as diverse as ours and as growing as ours, and just have a little grace for their elected leaders. That would be the ideal resident. So hold us accountable for sure. We're screwing up, let us know. But also give us a little grace because it's really, really hard, and say, hey, I am a cyclist. I think we should have more bike lanes, but I also understand, that we need more pickleball courts and we need more basketball courts and, we need more playground equipment. So I respect your decision not to fund us this year, and instead of just tweeting at me like I'm the worst person ever because we didn't expand the bike trail this year, so.
What, any other like characteristics, like as far as like, what should I do as a good citizen? Like on the day-to-day, not like for the next election, but like, is there any other thing that I feel like as a pastor, I have these insider things that I'm like, man, I love that. I love this. Is there anything else?
The most basic thing obviously is voting. And so, the price of participation or of an opinion, is participation.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have opinions, but then I ask them, did you actually vote in the election? And like, well, no, I didn't. It's like, well then, no offense, but your opinion doesn't mean a whole lot to me because you didn't even take time to go out and vote at the polls. And so you got to get out and vote. So that's just so critical. I mean, that's the basic thing you can do. The second thing, though, is where cities get torn apart is when people are having arguments about their communities online and just avoiding arguments online. That's where I see communities get fractured.
Yeah.
And where fights occur and where dissension occurs is in Facebook arguments and Twitter arguments and Instagram arguments about cities. Just avoid those.
Yeah.
Go knock on your neighbor's door, be a good neighbor. Check on your neighbor, rake their lawn, help them pick up trash, do things that no one expects you to do. I mean, dude, the other day, Adam, I came to an intersection at 69th and Minnesota. This poor girl is sitting in the middle of the intersection, her car had stalled, and cars are just driving around her. It's the middle of rush hour, and she is just sweating bullets, and just, she's probably 17, and I pulled over and I pushed her out of the intersection, and I'm like, why are all these people just driving around her? Get out and push her. This poor girl is a picture of your 17-year-old daughter. Like, I felt so bad for this kid. So just like, be a good human in our city. Like, if you do that stuff, man, think how great our city would be if everybody did two things every day. Found someone to pray for and found someone to bless.
It's good.
Like, do those two things and man, we'd have a great city.
Okay, so this is not Mayor. I'm asking Paul here. Anything else that you would add as a good citizen who's a Jesus follower? Is there anything that you would add that comes to mind? Again, that might be a weird question, but is there anything that comes to mind like, hey, you're a Jesus follower and you're a citizen of Sioux Falls. Here's your battle cry. Well, or not even a battle cry. Here's what you need to do. Live this.
Well, Adam, unfortunately what I see is a lot of people who claim to be Jesus followers that don't live like Jesus followers in the way that they engage in their government, with their government, right? So what's a fun little game I play is when I get comments and messages online, I click on profiles and then they have, lover of Christ in their profile, or they have, a Bible verse they shared 3 days earlier. And the message they share with me is far from a WWJD message. And so if you are going to be overtly out there in your faith, you need to walk the talk in your community because people are watching you. And so just live that. So if you're a Jesus follower, be the salt and be the light in your community because others are watching you. And that doesn't just mean on Sunday, that means online, that means at the park, that means the way people drive and park and, the parking lot at church and all the things, that are sometimes challenging.
So good. I just saw a post. It was either this morning or last night. A gal named, her Instagram is Sharon Says So. And she was talking about a controversial issue. And then she said, sadly, you could keep swiping. She said, sadly, these are the types of people who say these horrible, ugly, vile things. And it was someone's profile who was daughter of the king.
Yes.
And she's like,
it's terrible.
Yeah, she's like, what the heck is going on?
Can I be candid with you, Adam?
It.
Some of the most vitriolic messages I get as a mayor are from the most conservative Christians in our society, or who claim to be conservative Christians, and they're so mean, and they're so angry, and they're so judgmental. And if I just look at their activity, people would be fleeing the church saying, if that's what church is about and if that's what Jesus is about, I want nothing to do with it. And so it pains me to see that. And so we just have to remember, man, be bold in your faith. God calls us to do that. But remember, that comes with an expectation of walking the talk.
Yeah, it's like for your own soul and my own soul, but for all the people who I love who don't know Christ, I'm like, will you stop it?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to reach my friends, my neighbors, family for Christ. And that is that's not helping. I just get angry. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Okay, you're not going to like this question. As mayor, what is something you're most proud of? Like, is there, I told you this the other day, I was hanging out with a group of pastors from all across the country and randomly started bragging on you. And I was like, we have the best mayor and the best lead. This is how I say it. You're one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And the pastor from Kansas City is like, he is. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about the mayor of Sioux Falls. He's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I was like, Paul TenHaken, that's his name. And he's like, yeah. He's like, Adam, and he pastors a large church. He said, I utilized that story of Paul and the graffiti of the one kid and whatever in one of my messages. And I'm like, that's pretty rad.
Oh, that's great.
Is there something
cool,
you're
man.
proud of as mayor?
Well, I did get a Chick-fil-A in Sioux Falls that we didn't have before I was mayor. And then, that's a pretty big deal, Adam. I don't know. It might have secured my re-election, actually. But,
Exactly.
But you know what? I think, candidly, what I'm most proud of during my over 7 years now in office, I'm going to look back on is something that I really just am really proud of, is how we just kept the wheels on the bus in a time when we would just, and that's a Dodge Caravan that actually just spun out like that. It's impressive. When the world was just getting ripped apart, man, and starting in 2020, we were being told to not trust government. We were told to stay at home. Kids were ripped out of schools. George Floyd was murdered. Racial tensions all over. Elections were stolen. The tensions in government were at all-time high. I mean, cities were just ripped apart. Police force is degraded. I mean, most major cities still don't have a fully authorized police force, even today. And in Sioux Falls, I mean, we're one of the Census Bureau data. We're the seventh fastest growing municipality in the country based on Census Bureau data per capita. We got a fully authorized police force. We got economic stability. We got a 1.9% unemployment.
Yeah.
Like, the city is just killing it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Our crime is still very manageable. Last year was our lowest crime per capita since
I just saw something about that recently. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The T storm, whatever.
Yeah. So it's a combination of a whole bunch of just, I think, pragmatic little decisions that when the world was saying, hey, do this, and they were trying to swing us right or left, we just kept hitting it down the middle of the fairway. And like, I'm not taking the bait. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking this right-wing craziness or this left-wing craziness. I'm just going to keep going down the middle of the fairway, and I think our city is better because of it.
Why that and that? Oh, and there I could list off many more. How did you think you were able to do just that? How were you able to hit right down the fairway?
Well, I think a couple things. First, you can't fake being sincere and listening to people.
Yeah. He was a fan of yours.
That was not a Dodge Caravan. That was actually a full-throated South Dakota redneck truck there. But, so, you can't fake sincerity. You have to listen to people, and people can tell when you're hearing them, but you're not really listening deep,
Whoa.
And this city, if I threw out all the independents, we're probably 60% Republican, 40% Democrat. So that means the way I have to lead is in a very purple way. Respecting the fact that there is a broad variety of political opinions. We have 80 different languages spoken regularly in this community. We have a large Muslim community. We have a growing immigrant community. And so I'm the mayor for 220,000 vastly different people. And so while I have my own personal beliefs, I'm not elected to inject those beliefs on other people. However, I am going to live in a way that hopefully I'm a witness to those people through the way I'm leading.
Yep.
And that they say, there's something to that mayor that I know he's a Christian, and I like that form of Christianity. I like how, even though he's a Christian, he still visited the Muslims during Ramadan, just to acknowledge them. And I loved how he, met with this population during the pandemic, even though I know he disagrees with their position, but he wanted them to be heard. And I think that's what's missing in politics right now is like, dude, you disagree with me, so I instantly hate you. We go right from we disagree, so I hate you. I don't want to sit by you. I don't want to talk to you. And I don't know when we got that way, but we got that way. And so I just really have avoided that, man. And just everybody has worth and value. Every idea is a good one. And I think we get a lot more accomplished that way.
Paul, that ability to listen, how do you have that? Like, is that just intentional discipline of like, I am sitting and not talking or yelling? like how are you able to do that? Because I think, again, whether you lead one person or a city, there's so many times where that's really hard to listen. Anything in there, like a nugget there?
Well,
because I've watched you from afar and I'm like, I don't know how he's doing this.
Well, one thing that's built in that's been helpful, Adam, is the way government works, and specifically city government, is every Tuesday night we have meetings. And in our meetings, there's a portion of the meeting, every single topic, people get up and provide what's called public input.
Yes.
And during public input, people get to come up and they get to provide input. And you can't say a thing. You can't do a thing. You have to just sit there and listen. You can't respond. And sometimes it's the most outlandish comments. Sometimes it's slanderous. Sometimes it's profane. But you have to just sit there and you have to look at someone in the eye as they're telling you what a clown you are and what a terrible leader you are. And they sharing your address publicly and say, go to Mayor's house, and you know, and you have to just sit and listen. And when they're done, you have to say, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else here to speak tonight? And then the next person comes up. And that patience has taught me, you know, to just, one, it's thickened my skin, but it's just taught me how to just listen to people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hurt people that just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily think they're going to change their mind. They just want to be heard.
That's good.
And I think just the value of just hearing someone and making them feel heard, man, that goes a long way with folks.
That's good.
Especially our marginalized folks that never have a chance to be heard, but they know they can show up on a Tuesday night, and the most powerful people in the city have to sit there and listen to them.
Yeah.
And no one else listens to them. And it's tough sometimes. I mean, I get a little bit salty once in a while with them, as I did this past Tuesday night, but it's really helped my listening skills, I think.
I don't know if this is a curveball question or not, so we can ditch this if we need to.
I love curveballs.
One of the things I've always respected people who don't say what they're supposed to say as a part of a group. So politically more conservative. One of the moments I loved the most was when you spoke up for Haitians. Haitians were definitely being labeled, criticized, whatever. And then you shared on your social, the street, because then I just saw the lashings you took after that. I was like, oh my gosh. Maybe like what led you to do that? And how, like, you know, there's so many things you could speak up on. Like, what made you do that? Why then?
I think it was MLK that said it's never the wrong time to do the right thing, or it's always the right time to do the right thing, something like that. And you know, I've been to Haiti multiple times, as have you. And
yes.
Just the beautiful people that have some of the most difficult life circumstances of anywhere in the world, and the very few that have got the lottery ticket to come to the United States to just attempt to try and live a better life, and are working some of the worst jobs here in the States just in the hopes of making it. And then to have our highest elected leaders in the land say that they're eating pets and they're eating dogs and they're eating cats, and we should be fearful to try and spread some anti-immigrant rhetoric. It just triggered me. And I'm like, one, I know how false this is, and this is wrong. And what has happened in politics is the R's defend the R's at all costs, the D's defend the D's at all costs. And we got to get to the point where we say, listen, I'm an R, you're an R, but that's stupid. And you shouldn't say that, and we know that's wrong. And I did that with that. I did that when our president tweeted out a picture of himself with the Pope, as the Pope, and I'm like, listen.
Man, you took it for that too?
I did, but they're like, this is sacrilegious. Pope Francis just died 4 days ago, and you're superimposing yourself as a really sacred religious figure in the Catholic community and almost making a mockery of it. If someone put an elected figure's face as someone on the cross, would I take that so offensively? And this is not right. And we should expect more from people. We should expect more, not only from our elected leaders, but from the highest elected person in the land. And I know that costs me cred with people in the elected community. But if that means I don't get votes or get elected, I'm totally fine with that, because someday I'll have to face my maker, and I want him to say, hey, well done, good and faithful servant. Thank you for standing up for my people and for standing up for the least of these at a time when no one else would.
Yeah.
And that's what matters way more than maybe some ballot box votes someday. That
did you have any pause in your soul before pushing send?
Not in the least. Not in the least. Never. I never regret doing the right thing. Even, and that's why, Adam, I can't figure out. I was just having this conversation last night with someone. I am a Republican. I've been a Republican my whole life. And I can't tell if I have moved further to the center, or if a lot of other Republicans have just moved so far right they're almost falling off a cliff, or like where I fall anymore. Because I'm like, I think I'm the same, but now I'm having to defend people saying that Haitians eat dogs in Ohio. So like, did I just get liberal because I have to defend that? Like, I don't know what I am anymore. Like, I don't think that means I'm woke. Maybe it does. Like, I don't know. I think I'm just normal.
I think you're just normal. Beck and I have had so many conversations similar with close friends of like the same thing. It's like, what has changed? As I was like, I don't think I've changed. If anything, like I'm the closest I've ever been to Jesus. The more like holding on to His word, and yet you feel in so many different ways. Yeah.
I don't think I've changed either. Maybe I have. I would say. The challenge we have in politics, though, is parties are labeled, Democrats care about people, Republicans don't. We care about money and taxes, low taxes and capitalism. And there's a great book by Arthur Brooks called The Conservative's Heart. And it's about, Arthur Brooks, a great guy.
So good.
You need to get him on this podcast if you can.
If I get Arthur Brooks on this podcast, from your lips to the ears
Arthur,
of God.
If you're listening, please. But his book, The Conservative's Heart, is how conservatives, Republicans can also be compassionate.
Yeah.
And we can also have hearts for people and the homeless and the hurting and the Haitians and those who, have social issues that God's heart is breaking for. We as Republicans can care about those as well.
Okay, so kind of last section, how do you process what's next? Again, like I'm just thinking there's so many people trying to figure out what does the next season of life look like? How have you processed that?
Well,
because you're still in your role, but it's like, hey, that finish line is coming. What does that journey look like?
Well, a couple things. I mean, right now I'm saying no to a lot of stuff. I have people reaching out to me and say, hey, have you thought about this? Or hey, would you want to join my business in this? And everything right now is no. No. Because I have a year left in office and I want to run through this last mile. Like I want it to be my fastest split. I want to just go hard.
It's great.
And if you're running in a race and you're in your last mile and you're looking up in the stands, or you're going to trip and fall and screw up, and I don't want any distractions. So I'm saying no to everything. But my prayer, and God hears me say this all the time. I said it this morning on my run. God, I want to be useful to the kingdom. I want to be useful to the kingdom. Does that mean making me a CEO? Great. Does that mean a greeter at Walmart? Great.
Yeah.
Does that mean keeping me in politics? I hope not, but if it is, I'll be useful make me useful to the kingdom. No longer driven by money, no longer driven by earthly success or fame or power. I just want to be useful to the Lord, and I hope He makes that abundantly clear what that looks like. And so that's my prayer. And it's easy when that's your litmus test.
Yeah.
Because there's certainly things that have come my way already, and I'm like, that sounds fun. That would make good money. I don't see that being real useful to the kingdom. It would be useful to me. Oh. It would be financially beneficial to me. Would I be bringing people to the Lord through that work? I don't think so. And so I don't think that's going to be a fit.
Is there, and feel free to share as much as, are you talking with your spouse, with Jill? Are you talking with family, mentors, like as far as like any conversations that way that you're willing to share anything about, like as far as like, hey, what do you think? Or any of that?
A ton of conversations obviously with my wife.
Yeah.
Who she knows the highs and lows of the last 7 years and I'll be honest, Adam, like my mental health has taken a hit the last 7 years. And so I want to guard that a little more. I mean, when you really get the crap kicked out of you in this work. And so I need to protect that a little bit better going forward because like you, I'm a people pleaser, man. And when you disappoint people, it's hard on you. And I disappoint people multiple times every day. And, leadership is disappointing people at a rate they can accept. I've shared that with you before. That's my job. And so really pouring into Jill, and she's really challenging me on that to say, Paul, I think that would be hard on your mental health, that job. I think you'd struggle with that. And so that's been good for me. But you know what? I've grown so close to the Lord in this work. And I think you had a guest on here recently, a guy named Brian Slipka. And I listened to his episode, and he was talking about it's almost easier to grow closer to God when the times are really difficult.
Yes.
And I tell you, I have grown so close to the Lord in the last 7 years because so much has been out of my control.
Yeah.
This world is out of my control. Adam, we could be sitting here right now, and we could have a Walmart shooting as we speak, and I could be in a press conference in 1 hour addressing it, and it's out of my control. And I look at what's going on in Texas, and I look at these leaders that are having to stand up behind a mic and try and make sense of what happened. And
explain the unexplainable.
a week before, they were barbecuing with their families.
Yeah.
And they're just on their knees saying, Lord, give me the strength to lead through this.
Yeah.
And so this has really made me so tight with the Lord and so tight in my faith. And so my hope is whatever I do next, I have to have the same just daily reliance on God, and that I don't fall back into my own strengths, my own, powers that I think I can do it myself, because I can't do anything myself right now. And I want to find something in the future where I still need to have that.
Yeah. Last question, away from Jill, and I will let you answer it, do you have guys that you bounce things off? Do you have mentors that you bounce things off? What does that look like for you?
I have 7 guys.
Yeah.
And there's 8 of us total. And our group has a name. It's called 84C. And it stands for 8 for Christ. Okay? And we actually meet quite regularly at this coffee shop right up behind us over here on you've seen us there. And these are guys that are all very type A, very hard chargers, stubborn, just bullheaded. And we need each other to say, dude, you're wrong. Your marriage is a wreck. What are you doing here? Why did you make that decision? And because we're all surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by yes men, and all these guys are CEOs or executives, and they're surrounded by people that tell them how great they are. And we can get together and we can tell them how stupid they are.
Yeah.
And say, you got to get it together. And you're ignoring your wife right now, and your marriage is going to falter because of it. And you're not as great as you think you are. And why are you making this decision? And they're really helping me through this next stage of life. And in fact, one of them called me the other day, and he just said, you know what, I just came back from a conference, and I heard the CEO of Hobby Lobby speak. And he said, Paul, you need to use your platform in the next stage of life to encourage people to bring God into their business.
Oh.
You're built for it, Paul. He's like, you need to do it. And I'm calling you at 2 p.m. just to give you that encouragement, because you have all the tools to do it. And I don't know if that's on your heart or not, but God laid it on my heart to call you. And he's like, you got to read this book. And I went and bought it. And David Green, the founder CEO, it's called Giving It All Away and Getting It Back Again. And it's convicted me. And so now I'm thinking about that. And so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I've often told you, if I need to get a hold of the mayor, I'll send a letter in the mail. Although I feel like I've been breaking that rule a couple of times lately.
You know how to get a hold of me.
But if I need to get a hold of Paul, I'll send him a text. And why I tell people the mayor of Sioux Falls is one of the best leaders I've been around is, sure, it's his work as mayor, but 10 times more, it's the person that he is. And I just give thanks to you. Just even through COVID, you took so many arrows, and people like me were able to follow behind your leadership. So you took the hard road, and it was easy for someone like myself. And so just whether it's me as a pastor or me as a Jesus follower, or me as a leader, you've just challenged me, encouraged me, convicted me in more ways than you know. So I just want to say,
thanks,
just really grateful for you. So
love you, brother.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are so grateful that you're here listening to the conversation, whether it's your first time or you listen every single week. Thanks so much for tuning in and supporting us throughout this awesome journey.
Yeah, thanks to each of you who listen. Thanks to our Mayor of Sioux Falls, Mr. Paul TenHaken. Paul, I just respect you and appreciate you and love you. So thank you for the time again today. Thanks to our partner, Vern Eide Motor Cars. Go buy a vehicle from Vern Eide. Every time I see someone that's got a Vern Eide plate on, I celebrate. I'm like excited. I'm like, can I give you a high five? And then go to mission-haiti.org and sponsor a child. So that's what we know. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.